afternoon. I'm Monique Tuzon sitting in for Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at DICT department assures the public to use wallets despite recent unauthorized transactions on the DICT app. Thanks for joining us. Just as parts of Luzon begin to recover from the NDRRMC headquarters in Quezon City, and he joins us for an update. Go ahead.
But in a few days, we're expected to feel the effects of yet another storm. As the rest of the night may raise signal number 1 in the Cagayan Valley region due to tropical storm Ophel. Pag-asa warns that heavy rain and severe winds since this morning managed 2,184 evacuated from regions 1, 2, 3, and 5. 36,788 families and 643 individuals are affected by the onslaught of Typhoon Nika. Monique, torrential rains brought by Nika caused 4 dams to release their water, namely Ambuklao, Binga, San Roque, and Magat Dam. Pag-asa expects that Magat Dam may have to release water yet again due to the rise in the water levels and for the incoming storm Ophel. Monique?
Bea, when is Tropical Storm Ophel expected to make landfall?
Monique, actually, Pag-asa expects that Tropical Storm Ophel may hit land in northern or central Luzon by Thursday. They also expect for this to intensify in the next 3 days and that this may reach typhoon category by Wednesday. Back to you, Monique.
Thanks so much, Bea de la Cruz, reporting from the NDRRMC headquarters in Quezon City. Now let's check on the situation in one of the areas affected by Typhoon Nika. Hannah T is on the scene in Santiago City, Isabela, and she joins us now live for the latest there. Hannah, what can you tell us?
Monique, Santiago City is one of the hardest hit areas by severe tropical storm Nika here in Isabela. According to the LGU, as of 9:30 this morning, over 1,490 families or almost 5,000 individuals have been evacuated here in the city. Like in Kawayan City, there is still no electricity here in Santiago and restoration of power lines is still underway. On the way here, we saw many fallen trees and flooded households, even near the highway. Electricity posts, gas station signage, and banners have also been knocked down. Monique?
Hannah, it seems that the weather has improved a little there, but so far, have there been any reported casualties in Santiago City?
That's right, Monique. It's sunny here in Santiago. As for casualties, thankfully, the LGU reported there's no casualty yet, and they're still gathering reports from the barangays to determine Nika's total initial damage to the city. Back to you, Monique.
Thank you, Hannah T, reporting live from Santiago City in Isabela. In the meantime, President Bongbong Marcos assures Filipinos the government is ready to respond to the series of tropical cyclones in the country. On the sidelines of the Sea Trade Cruise Asia 2024 in Parañaque City, Marcos stressed relief goods and other needed equipment have been pre-positioned. He, however, acknowledged the difficulties in rehabilitating areas ravaged by storms. In other news, President Marcos defending his recent signing of 2 landmark laws that stress the Philippines' maritime entitlements and rights. This comes after China slammed their enactment and even summoned Philippine floor crews to lodge formal protests. One of those laws, the Philippine Maritime Zones Act, declares the country's maritime zones in accordance with the standards set by UNCLOS. The other measure establishes a system of archipelagic sea lanes and air routes through which foreign vessels and air shall exercise the right of passage. Now let's head on to the United States, where loyalists continue to fill the Trump 2.0 cabinet. The president has picked Republican Representative Mike Waltz to be his security advisor. Waltz is a retired Army Green Beret and a leading critic of China. He had also served in the National Guard as a colonel. The National Security Advisor is a powerful role which does not require Senate confirmation. Responsible for briefing Trump on key security issues and coordinate with different agencies. Donald Trump has also picked Elise Stefanik as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. And the world body says it is Harold Stefanik, a New York representative and House Republican Conference chair, has been a fierce Trump ally.
President-elect Trump chose Congresswoman Elise Stefanik as the next ambassador. Any reaction from the Secretary General? And did you notice that Stefanik, when Trump withdrew the United States from the Paris Accord, she actually criticized the president and said that shouldn't have done that?
Look, it's not for us to react. Member states will appoint, leaders of member states will appoint their representatives, and we will work constructively with the permanent representative of the United States, just like we do with every other country.
Over in Colombia, which is now under a state of national disaster due to catastrophic floods. As many as 30,000 families have been severely affected by the flooding caused by heavy rain. Government has begun distributing relief aid to the victims. Arab and Muslim leaders are demanding Israel to withdraw from occupied Palestinian territories, saying this is the only way towards regional peace. They're also denouncing what they call Israel's shocking crimes in Gaza. The conflict in the Middle East was high on the agenda of the meeting between Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The summit comes less than a week after Donald Trump secured a second term as President of the United States, Israel's top military backer.
The two-state solution was dying a slow death, and with the conflict in Gaza and the activities of Israel in the West Bank, that death was accelerating. But what we now see is that there is a significant consensus of the international community, a majority of countries, of the members of the United Nations, a significant number of the largest countries actually in the world, that stand very firmly behind a two-state solution.
We're taking a quick break. Still to come, the ICT department assures the public it is safe to use e-wallets despite recent unauthorized transactions on the GCash app. That and more when Newsfeed at Noon returns. Welcome back to Newsfeed at Noon. Former Senator Laila De Lima says the congressional investigations on extrajudicial killings have bolstered her hope that victims of the Duterte drug war will eventually get justice and the perpetrators sent to prison. On BNC's On Point, De Lima said she appreciates the efforts being exerted by lawmakers, citing the long hearings and the shocking revelations they are able to extract from resource persons. She also lauded the Justice Department's initiative to create a task force to focus on investigating EJ case, noting she herself wants a legislated independent truth commission composed of retired jurists and professional investigators. The ICT department assures the public e-wallets are still safe to use. This comes after unauthorized transactions on the GCash app, which led to missing funds in some users' accounts. On BNC's At the Forefront, DICT Undersecretary Jeffrey D. said the issue is not a cybersecurity matter, but an internal error on a so-called reconciliation process. D added, such system errors can be rectified. GCash has said it has completed the necessary wallet adjustments for affected users. It also vows to coordinate with relevant agencies in investigating the incident. Utility giant Meralco hiking power rates again this November. It will implement a 43 centavo increase per kilowatt hour, citing higher generation and transmission charges, as well as additional taxes. This means for household using 200 kilowatt per hour of electricity, they can expect an additional 85 pesos in their power bills. Meanwhile, households with a 500 kilowatt per hour power consumption may see an increase of 214 pesos in their bills. Now, despite a reduction in local production this year, the government will delay sugar importation until after May of 2025. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel says there is no immediate need for imports as current supply levels are still enough to meet demand. The Sugar Regulatory Administration had forecast a decline in production for the crop year, which runs from September 2024 to August 2025. The SRA has said the current harvest has been slow as farmers implement a delay to allow the cane to mature and increase sugar content. The Bureau of Customs exceeds its revenue goal for October. The agency collected 89.5 billion pesos for the month, 3.9% higher than its target of 86.1 billion pesos. BOC attributes this to accurate duty and tax collections, contributions from the Value-Added Tax Refund Program, and the implementation of Fuel Marketing Initiative. As of end of October, total collections reached 785 billion pesos, surpassing the target of the Development Budget Coordination Committee of 780 billion pesos. Now on to some earnings reports. San Miguel Corporation of Ultra Bilyonaryo Ramon S. Ang reports a 19% jump in 9-month net income. The profit jumped 37.1 billion pesos, driven by robust performances across key business units, despite typhoons and currency fluctuations. These include San Miguel Food and Beverage, San Miguel Brewery, San Miguel Global Power Holdings, and San Miguel Infrastructure. Consolidated revenues climbed 11% to 1.2 trillion pesos, buoyed by strong sales in power, fuel and oil, and food. Now, the C-led SM Prime Holdings also maintaining its growth trajectory with a double-digit earnings growth in the first 9 months. Its profit rose 12% to 34 billion pesos, while consolidated revenues increased 8% to almost 100 billion. For the third quarter alone, SM Prime reported a net income of 12 billion pesos, up 11% year-on-year. The property developer is confident it would retain its positive momentum with the recent opening of SM City J Mall and the upcoming holiday season. Billionaire Enrique Razon pushing back against Maersk's legal challenge to the winning bid of ICTSI for the privatization of South Africa's Durban container port. Razon claims the Danish shipping giant is desperate to prevent the entry of an independent common user terminal or operator. He insists ICTSI outbid Maersk by $100 million and that Maersk is attempting to ensure that the South African government does not succeed with its economic agenda. The dispute stems from bidding process overseen by South Africa's state-owned logistics company, Transnet. A South African court recently granted an interdict against the selection of ICTSI, delaying the privatization of the struggling Durban terminal. We're taking another breather. More news when we return. Make sure to keep it here on Newsfeed at noon. Squad Committee clarifies it canceled its drug war hearing tomorrow before rumors emerge on social media that former President Rodrigo Duterte will attend. Let's get the details from Zandro Ochona. Zandro.
Yes, Monique, several members of the House Quadcom called the rumors on social media that former President Rodrigo Duterte will attend their hearing a mere propaganda. During a press conference at the House of Representatives, House Quadcom lead chairman Representative Robert Ace Barber said they have yet to receive a formal communication from the Duterte camp of their willingness to attend the supposed Quadcom hearing tomorrow. Barbers maintains they have not received a letter of confirmation from Duterte and from the Senators Ronald Bato de la Rosa and Bongo, and that they have canceled first before rumors emerged on social media calling them coward. Barbers also called on the Duterte camp not to use vloggers but to use proper communication lines to confirm their attendance. Zambales 1st District Representative Jefferson Konghun and Quad member said that up until the Quadcom receives a formal confirmation of Duterte's attendance, and only through vloggers confirming his attendance on social media, it would remain as propaganda. Barbers also appealed to the Duterte camp to confirm if they will attend the November 21 hearing, the date of their next hearing. Monique?
Thank you, Zandro Ochona, for that report. Now, in the meantime, President Bongbong Marcos calls on the cruise tourism industry to boost its collaboration with the government. Marcos extended that invitation during the Sea Trade Cruise Asia 2024 held in Parañaque City. The president said, aside from improving the country's ports and destinations, government agencies are committed to the preservation of cultural and environmental assets. Marcos added the goal is to create an industry that benefits not only cruise lines and their members, but also local communities and travelers seeking to explore the diverse culture of the country. And before we go, the Vatican launches services for St. Peter's Basilica that are, get this, enabled by artificial intelligence. The Basilica's digital twin was developed by Microsoft. It allows extraordinary access to the religious landmark, allowing users to virtually go over its architecture and art, including sections and details that are nearly impossible to explore. There will also be immersive exhibitions at the Basilica itself, but there are no dates yet. Some 40,000 to 50,000 people visit the Basilica daily. And those are the news this hour. I'm Monique Tuzon, sitting in for Mai Rodriguez. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Good afternoon.